Sunita Gordon is the co-founder and CEO of SaferSpace, an app that allows employees to anonymously report unacceptable behaviour and harassment in the workplace. We spoke to Sunita about the data on workplace harassment and how SaferSpace's AI chatbot is helping to support those experiencing workplace discrimination. Please introduce yourself and tell us a little about your career background.
My career started way back in the 80s. It was all in the print media. In those days, print media was absolutely rising, purely because that was the only way of dissemination of news and events and so forth. I found media to be exciting, innovative, and a fun environment to be in. Not to put a more finer point on that, but just to acknowledge that I did personally feel that I was discriminated against and there was racism. Nevertheless, I never took it to heart. I just listened, never made anyone else feel as if they were being hurtful, made very little noise, and just carried on with the job. Rather than be one who causes trouble or a scene, in the main, I thought the sector for women to thrive was quite tough. You've seen Mad Men, you know what I'm talking about.
How did the SaferSpace app come about?
So Ruth, my co-partner, or co-founder I should say, was thumbing through some Ofsted reports because we are both very much interested in education, and she in the past had worked for colleges. And this particular college that she'd worked for, she decided to have a look at the recent Ofsted report and saw that the college had failed. And she wondered why it's failed. So she looked deeper into the report, and the main reason for them failing was that the girls felt unsafe in common areas. And there were reports of student complaints of homophobic slurs onto them. This in itself was bad enough. But when the Ofsted inspector turned around and asked the SLT, did you know about this? And they denied all knowledge, which absolutely shocked Ruth about why would the senior team not know what's going on and how their students are feeling. So here are some statistics for your readers and listeners. 58% of women have experienced harassment in workplace, and this is a TUC's own survey. 68% of students have suffered harassment. This is the NUS survey figures. But there are 79% of victims who don't report it. That is 8 out of 10 people. Sources Fawcett Society. So this is all around us in the UK. So one of the top reasons we found that people didn't complain about their experiences was they weren't sure that if a complaint was warranted, let alone how to go about it. So that's when the idea of a chatbot came about.
How does the AI chatbot feature work?
We have a version on the SaferSpace. Just go look at the bottom of the website. On the right-hand side, there's a thumbs up sign. Just press that and the chatbot comes up. Ask it a question and it will give you a response.
How can facilities managers who look after large numbers of people across multiple sites make use of the app to protect their staff?
It's very simple. Once a company subscribes to it, all the workers have access to the app. All they do is, if they feel unsure in and surrounding where they are, they feel a little uncomfortable, they just press the app. It asks very simple questions. Do you want to give your location? They can type in their location, and couple of 2 or 3 qualifying questions to make sure that they do actually work for that company, that somebody hasn't hijacked somebody hasn't just messing around on the app. So, and then they can put in their concern, they can add a photograph or a video to it, and it just goes to the administration of the organization. They can report back. Once they've investigated, the organization has investigated the issue. The response then goes back to the complainant. The complainant might have kept themselves as anonymous. In that case, it is a record on the organization's sort of procedures and policies. Over time, it makes the organization realize where the hotspots are, where these things are happening, why people are doing this, and simply it might be an issue about training. They can put that forward so people can understand the way to speak to someone. It could be that they are intimidating to another staff purely because their voice level is too high. All of these things can be addressed through data, evidence that the organization then has. Keeping on top of these incidents is very, very easy. You can slice and dice these reports. You can have a graph to see at what time of day people are reporting, etc. And we would bespoke and configure it. The reason we think this app is very important in the 21st century is it works with the HR policies, and it doesn't burden HR with an additional thing to worry about. So we are here to help at SaferSpace.io.